Hey everyone, it's Megan and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about something a little different. So as you know, I talk about fandom related things, mostly primetime shows. I have talked about a couple of other shows, daytime in particular, in other videos in the past. And today's going to be one of those episodes where I talk about daytime TV a little bit. I used to be a big daytime TV fan. I started with the show Passions. I moved from there to, actually from Passions to Days of Our Lives. And then from there, I started watching General Hospital, All My Children. And then I tried to watch, One Life to Live, but I could never really get into it. And some of the CBS shows I could never get into. I tried them once, twice, but I could never really get into them. It's just, I was more of a ABC, NBC fan. So I do on occasion still watch General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. Not as much as I used to. One, because time doesn't allow it anymore, and two, because General Hospital, mainly, the storylines have kind of really started to annoy me, and I can't really get into them, and I can't really like them right now, and it frustrates me because this was a show that I loved so much. And Days of Our Lives, I'm trying to follow along, but like I said, with time, it's very hard. So I follow along with, on Twitter and in clips every so often to see what's happening and with spoilers, but it's just time management when it comes to watching the shows is a little bit hard. But, so I decided to talk about some of the storylines within General Hospital that aggravated me the most. And there's about 8. Technically, one of them isn't actually a storyline. It's just one person in general that aggravated me. So, without further ado, we'll get into it, unless my cat decides to destroy the box and make all the noise. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, the first storyline that drove me crazy was Georgies' death. Now, it wasn't the fact that Georgie died. Yes, that annoyed me. I hated watching Georgie die because Georgie was one of my favorite characters. I adored her. She was just so likable and so sweet, and she didn't deserve the death she got. But that being said, characters die. They come, they go. It happens. That's what soap operas are, and that's what daytime TV is. And so, but when it comes to Georgie's death, she was killed by Diego, who was I forget what name he went by. He was the killer. Text message killer, that's what it was. He was the text message killer, which was really ridiculous name now that you think about it. But yeah, so he was the text message killer, and he killed Georgie. And I never believed that because of how close Georgie and Diego were. I mean, after all, Georgie risked her life to prove he was innocent for something he didn't do. And so I choose to believe that he wouldn't have killed her. It just wouldn't have been something that he would have done. And that's why that storyline just annoys me, because it's just something that it never made sense to me. It would be different if it was like someone else that killed her, but it just never made sense to me why he killed her. Because she was someone that was close to him. He cared about her at one point. It just never made sense. The second storyline that really annoyed me was Luke's redemption and Jake being alive. The necessary, the need for them to redeem Luke Spencer just so he could leave was not needed at all. Luke Spencer was never a redeemable character. Never. He always made mistakes. He always screwed up. He was, an alcoholic, not the best father. And the whole point of his character killing Jake in that car crash was to prove a point to Jason. It wasn't, to screw over Luke. It was to prove a point to Jason that anything can happen to kids and not just the mob life that he's afraid of. And when they brought Jake back, they brought him back and he was alive and he was never killed and it was all Helena who did this and Luke's the one to bring him home and save him, was ridiculous. It's like, one, Jake didn't need to be alive. Yes, I know, I'll probably piss off a lot of Liaison fans, and I don't care, because this is just how I feel. Jake didn't need to be alive, and Luke didn't need to be the one to rescue him and save him from Helena. It's just, they just needed a way to redeem Luke so that way he would leave on the best of terms with everyone he loved. And it didn't need to be that way, but they just needed to do it that way. And it frustrates me to no end. Am I happy that Liz has her son again? Yes, I am thrilled that she has Jake back again. But there was a whole point to it, and then they had to go and change this whole storyline that came out of Jake's death when Jocelyn gets a kidney, and then they had to make Jax into this bad guy for, asking this girl to give her kidney up for a random stranger. It's like, I know soap opera storylines can be out there and crazy, but this just not necessary at all. Okay? Not necessary. Next one is Spinelli and Maxie. And the reason why I do not like this one is because, one, they pushed it too hard, and two, they were trying to make it into the second Georgie and Dylan. Like, they were trying to make it into Georgie and Dylan 2.0, and I wasn't having that. Not at all. Georgie and Dylan, what they had was special, and you can't recreate that, but that's what they were trying to do with Spinelli and Maxie, and it pissed me off. And the whole pushing them far too much, it's just, when they push a couple too far too much sometimes to try and get people to be like, oh yeah, they're great, come on, like them. I'm like, no, I'm good. Let's not shove them in our faces. Please don't. And that's what they were kind of doing with Spinelli and Maxie, because for the longest time, it's like Maxie just thought of Spinelli as a friend, and Spinelli was the one who really adored Maxie and had the crush on her. So it was just never something that I saw being romantic, and when it became romantic, it just felt very weird, and I never liked it. Never. So, the next storyline is Matt going to jail. So this is Matt Hunter going to jail. He should be out of jail by now. This whole storyline of him going to jail was ridiculous. Another plot to get rid of the actor who played Matt, but still, ridiculous nonetheless. I mean, he went to jail for some crime that suddenly he committed. No, I don't buy it. And honestly, it's been time. Can we get him back on screen? Please, because he needs to be back on screen. I mean, his brother's not on screen anymore, but come on, we can still enjoy Matt Hunter. Really. It's just, it was just a silly way to write out Jason Cook, and it's never a fan of it. I figured they definitely could have done other things, something else to get rid of Matt Hunter, but it is what it is, I guess. So the next storyline that annoyed me, actually I'm going to leave that one to last, but the next storylines that annoy me all have to do with Liz, Lucky, and Nicholas. So the first one is Lucky's storyline in 2010, where he's slowly becoming a drug addict again. That one drove me insane. The one good thing that I can say is that Jonathan Jackson was never nominated for any of those scenes, which makes me happy, because if he had been nominated, I had said to a friend, it's like I would have been ripshit, because Greg started that storyline and he didn't get any praise for it, and he did a fantastic job. He blew that storyline out of the water, and in my book, he deserved praise. But yeah, this storyline, when they brought it back up with Jonathan, I was just like, no, stop it. I need this to end. Make it go away as fast as possible, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't enjoy that. Just like when they brought Jonathan back and then just screwed over Liz and Lucky. So, at the time, I was under the impression that Jonathan Jackson was brought back to, appease or bring back the original Liz and Lucky fans. But instead of putting Liz and Lucky together, they broke them apart as soon as possible by putting her with Nicholas. And honestly, they had a missed opportunity with Greg and Jonathan. I think they could have done a fantastic storyline with Greg and Jonathan and Helena. That would have been a great storyline. And I think they ended up kind of doing it with Jason and Drew, but I think it would have worked so much better with Greg and Jonathan, because one, Jonathan first left when everyone thought he was dead. Thought the character of Lucky was dead. And then who came back was Jacob Young as Lucky, and then Greg took it over. So I think it would have been fun to see the two of them together trying to battle it out between who's the real Lucky, I think it would have been a great storyline. But back to my annoying storylines, and that is, like I said, Liz, Lucky, and Nicholas. Oh my god, the Liz and Nicholas storyline. They had no chemistry. They were forced. They were terrible. And I hated every minute of it. Yes, there are some fans who loved every minute of it. And, to each their own. But for me, I hated it. And it also didn't help that I hated Nicholas. After Emily died, I despised everything about Nicholas Cassadine, and I wanted him off my screen in the worst way. Now, mind you, I had nothing against Tyler, never have anything against any of the actors, but the whole Nicholas Cassadine drove me crazy. I did, however, tolerate him when he was with Nadine, but then once, Nadine disappeared, it's like I wanted him gone because he was so annoying. He was this evil, manipulative, no good, dirty, rotten person, and I hated him. I went on rants about him on, the site that I once had, which was like a ranting blog, and I would rant on and on. I went on and on about how much I hated Nicholas and how much I hated Nicholas and Elizabeth. There was actually one storyline that I could have accepted, is if Spencer came back from boarding school despising his father, because Nicholas never paid any attention to his father. Nicholas never paid any attention to his son for the longest time, so I would have loved that, but they didn't go that route, so that sucks. But yeah, I despise Nicholas with a passion. So that's another reason why I just did not like the Liz Lucky and Nicholas storyline. Plus, I'm a Liz and Lucky fan, and I felt gypped when we lost Liz and Lucky, because the moment that happened, it's like Liz and Lucky were done. There was no coming back from that, and it broke my heart. I will forever still want Liz and Lucky to get back together, but I don't know if that will happen. I'm just glad that her son Aiden belongs to Lucky. That's about the only thing I'm happy about. And then the last storyline that despises me is Liz and Franco. Now, like I said at the beginning, I don't really watch much about, I don't really watch the show now. I see things here and there, but the one thing that I never really truly understood is why Liz got with Franco. Franco is this terrible person, and yeah, he had a brain tumor, but it doesn't change what he's done, what he did, you know? And it never, I could never figure out why. And I mean, I'm sure people could compare him to Rick and say, well, you know, they kind of did the same thing, but Franco also didn't try to, Rick didn't try to kill Lulu. He didn't, you know, go batshit crazy and do all these things. No, yes, it's a different actor. I understand that, but still, it's the same character. And Rick did a lot of horrible things, but in his defense, it was because he couldn't see past his hatred for Sonny. Once he got past that, he was able to change and be a better person. Franco was never a better person. He suddenly has a brain tumor and now he's a better person. That's such a soap opera cop-out, and I hate it. Yeah, he put up some video saying, oh yeah, I didn't do this. That wasn't really me. This didn't actually really happen. I just made you believe it because I was having fun. No, it's like, I hate when they have villains end up with brain tumors and then, you know, suddenly they're all better, you know. Oh, I'm actually this really good angel. No, I can't. So that is why I do not approve of Liz and Franco, and I never will. I never will. So those are the storylines on General Hospital that I do not like. They bother me. I despise them, and I wish they would change, but it is what it is. It's been a while now. Actually, it's been 10 years since Greg left. It breaks my heart. I didn't realize that at the time. Wow, 10 years. Time flies. But, so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you have anything to say about any of the storylines that I've talked about, whether you enjoyed them or you agree with me, be sure to leave a comment. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, bye guys.